7 days of the Links of Utopia, we are officially at a fork in the road, folks.
Uh-huh.
We are at a point where choices and tough choices must be made.
Yep.
This is where we are.
Yep.
This is not a bureaucracy. This
is hell.
A dictatorship.
It's not just a dictatorship. This is hell. We're in the epitome of hell right now, folks. We got people who are wearing the mask versus people who don't want to wear the mask because they think they got a God-given right for the CDC. They can be exempt from wearing a mask. No, they don't.
No.
You listen to the CDC. Listen, folks.
I have not heard from the CDC or the WHO or any health organization.
That's because Trump insulted their intelligence. And that's a shot in the dark, folks. That's a big shot in the dark.
I haven't heard from any of these so-called organizations for our Canadian brothers and sisters north of the border.
And you want to know why?
That are living in the same crap that we are.
And you want to know why? Because a certain toilet bag, who will remain nameless on this podcast, because if we say his name, then both of us is going to go off the deep end to the point of no return here.
Well,
say they're dumb.
Hold on a second. I think we already have gone off the deep end, so we might as well just go ahead and just say who it is now.
Yeah. Dumb. That twit bag, Montagnier, this so-called idiot, the orange baboon, the 45th president, Donald freaking Trump.
A dude that couldn't pay his taxes. A dude that dodged the army like the traitor Benedict Arnold.
The dude.
A douchebag that couldn't even.
We got a total twit who's been married more times than Michael Jordan, who has more kids than Octomom.
And let's see. Probably, well, at least Octomom, at least she got smart and got out of the spotlight.
Yep.
Even though she did have to deal with, I don't know, utter crap.
Yep.
When she had her 15 seconds of fame. But at least lately she's took her smart pills and got out while the getting was good.
Yes. This twit bag is so stupid. He didn't realize that the words he's now saying are coming back and biting him in his orange-covered ass. Trump, shut the fuck up, dude. You're not listening to the people. You're listening to your own bullshit. You think everybody's wrong and you're right. Dude, you ain't even been to school. Because if you had, you want to understand the Constitution better. If you had, you want to understand how the CDC works, how diseases work. If you did, then you would know that sports and politics don't mix. I.e. Kelly Loeffler, the owner, Loeffler, co-owner of the Atlanta Dream, she needs to get out of there. Because if by being an elected official, you should not be allowed to have a sports organization.
I haven't heard any more about that since about 2 months ago.
Yes.
They were trying to get her out.
Yes, because
and I ain't heard any more on that since then.
Nope.
And congratulations are in order to former Yukon Husky. And right now, taking some time off from the WNBA, Maya Moore, to get more folk that are wrongly accused.
Yes. And speaking of Maya Moore, apparently about a month ago, she tied the knot.
And the tweet on that came out Thursday.
Yes, she secretly tied the knot with the man she helped get released from jail based on a lie and a wrongful confession that was coerced. Jonathan Irons, her new husband, whom she met when he was just 16 and she was 18. Here it is, 20. Here it is. She's 31. He's 39. Do the math, folks. He's been locked up for 20 years doing a 50-year sentence for a crime he never committed.
Almost half the time. 23 years to be exact.
And because of Maya Moore's determination of never giving up, the courts had decided to retry his case and drop all the charges together.
Which they should have done in the first place.
Yes, because new details had surfaced that the prosecuting attorney never shared the evidence with his defense attorney. In other words, the fingerprints that declared this man's innocence, not his guilt, that he was not there when this man was attacked, when he was just 16 years old.
Free plug to a podcast, by the way. For those of you that are interested in people that have been wrongly accused and are other folks that are trying to set them free, go listen every Thursday to the podcast called Unjust and Unsolved. If you want more of your fix on that.
Yeah.
Which I've enjoyed, by the way.
Spank the...
Three episodes in, and I will say, well done, people. Well done. 4 episodes in, actually.
Yeah. Speaking of unjust, the city of Louisville had to shell out more money again. This time to the family of Breonna Taylor, the EMT that the police had shot in her home back in March. And for those of you who have followed that case and that protest from Louisville, on March 26th, Breonna Taylor was accosted and gunned down in her own home by 3 Louisville Metro police officers. Her boyfriend was unjustly arrested and tried to get him charged with attempted murder after one of his bullets.
No.
Yeah.
No. Sorry. Here's where I have to cut you off. Attempted murder, my
butt. Yeah. They try to stick that on him.
Attempted murder? That's almost like, I don't know, giving Jeffrey Dahmer a life sentence for just being a stupid cannibal. Get real.
Yes.
Attempted murder. What?
It turns out that Breonna Taylor's boyfriend, Kenneth Walker, had a gun that he legally owns, that he has within his own right to carry. Thank you to the Second Amendment. One of the bullets, he only fired one shot. And the cop he actually shot, Officer Don Mattingly, not to be confused with former baseball manager Don Mattingly, folks.
And current manager of the Fishies, by the way, a.k.a. the Miami Marlins, who were still terrible.
Said that he shot him in the leg, that he almost killed him. He shot him in the femoral artery. That's where the attempted murder charge come from, but it didn't stick. Because it turns out the ballistics shows that the bullet that he shot, he only shot one bullet, versus the barrage of bullets that entered his and Breonna Taylor's apartment came from the 3 officers who was there with a flawed no-knock warrant for an address 10 miles in the opposite direction. The home of Demetrius Glover, her ex-boyfriend.
Glover.
And she told him way before she died, before they broke up, that you try to do drugs, do not bring them to my house because my sister was living here. Yes, folks, she had a little sister living with her at the time. So he kept his promise. There was no drugs in her house, even though her name was on the list of places where he lived at.
So basically the cops thought that she was basically holding drugs for this druggy hoodlum douche. And it turns out that she didn't, because she had just come home from her job.
She was never doing drugs at all. And he's a druggie with a conscience. He didn't want her to be involved in that mess at all. And he kept his word.
At least for once, a druggie actually does something right for once in their pathetic life.
Yes. It was in one of the other drug houses that they found him in 10 miles east from her location. The police failed to identify themselves at her apartment. Because even she and Kenneth Walker said they didn't hear them say they were the cops. They just kicked in the door, start firing, bullets flying left and right, and Breonna Taylor was shot 7 times.
Too many. Shouldn't have even been allowed to be shot.
Which led to over 100 plus days of civil unrest in that city.
And there's still unrest.
And they came up with a resolution.
Ain't done yet.
Breonna Taylor's mother filed a lawsuit and won it. She was awarded $12 million, the largest amount in Louisville history. The second largest $1 million lawsuit that the city had to pay. The first one occurred 8 years before that, when an unknown man was shot by the police for no apparent reason. They had to shell out to his family $8.5 million. So, by record accounts, unlawful deaths, unlawful wrongsuits, that total that the city of Louisville was at $20.5 million.
Close to 21.
Yeah.
And they'll probably have to pay even more when they finally go to trial.
Yes. Hankinson, the third officer who fired a fatal shot that killed Miss Taylor, lost his job, as well as the former police chief, Stephen Conrad.
Good. Hopefully they never get hired again. Twins.
Nope. And on top of the lawsuit, not only the city of Louisville is getting sued, so was the mayor, the former police chief, and the 3 former officers that did the no-knock warrant.
Okay, here's the deal. Mayor, out. Thank God the police officers are out, but there needs to be more done.
Actually, 2 out of those 3 officers still has their jobs. They're on an administrative desk duty.
No. We need to stop with this administrative desk duty BS.
And they need to go.
For that. They need to get some gone. I don't care anymore. If you do something heinous to a citizen and you don't take responsibility for it,
you needs to go.
You need to get some bleeping gone.
Stick a fork in you, retire early, you're done.
As a matter of fact, I'm like, here's the deal. Here's how I'm going to do this. The 2 of you that are on administrative desk duty, you're no longer on administrative desk duty. You're fired.
Goodbye.
A severance package, you ain't getting that either. You're just going to take your base pay.
And you know who else is on that chain of lawsuits that needs to be gone? The Commonwealth Attorney, John Cameron.
Amen. Go.
He's the one who screwed up in the first place.
Morons that are in cahoots in this have got to go.
Yeah, the state of Kentucky has a bad streak when it comes to law enforcement. Besides them, let's not forget the Blue Templar, the trifecta of the Bowling Green Police Department, where the last remaining guy, Henry Vance, has only got what was left of a former cop's estate. This former police officer, who was also a drug dealer on the side, decides to jump out of a plane with $12 million of cash and drugs strapped to his body. Do the science, people. He's $135 soaking wet. You strapping about 10,000 pounds to your body. That's cash and drugs, and you gonna try to jump out of a plane? Not only did he outweigh his parachute, he fell up faster than a rocket and went splat on somebody's driveway. He was splat on a driveway in Indiana. His head popped off. Do you know the old saying from Blade? Eventually, sooner or later, your head's gonna pop right off. His head popped off and was gone. His head was all over this person's driveway. There was nothing of his head left. No teeth, no brain, nothing. His head was gone.
Yes.
He jumped out of a plane with cash and weed, drugs around him. You doing anything that's gonna hold the weight with a parachute? Are you kidding me?
I'll put it this way.
Einstein's theory of relativity. Force equals mass times acceleration.
I'll put it this way. At least when he went, at least he got his money's worth when he went bye-bye. He got that.
Dead people can't keep that money. That money, that what was left of it, it went to his partner in crime.